Hi, good morning, students. How are you today? I really hope you are all fine. I'm fine here and I am so excited to explain about tone. In this video, I'm gonna start with the definition of tone. Tone is the reflection of writer's attitude, especially toward his readers, manner, mood, and moral outlook in his work. Even the way his personality pervades the work. Just like tone of voice in speech which may be friendly, detached, pompous, officious, intimate, bantering, and so forth. I think you understand what tone is in ordinary life, yeah? When you're saying that, hey, why you are having that tone, yeah, in the way you talk, means that you sense, yeah, whether the tone of that conversation is friendly or is not friendly, or it is a mocking, yeah, or a funny thing, whether it is humorous. That's tone. In a poem, you can also see the tone. Yeah. So again, tone in a poem is the writer's or speaker's attitude toward his subject, his audience, or himself. It is the emotional coloring or the emotional meaning of the work and is extremely important part of the full meaning. In spoken language, it is indicated by the inflection of the speaker's voice. Yeah. But in a poem, sometimes we see the tone because of the choice of words or because of the selection of experience that could be ordinary or not ordinary. So we can judge whether the tone is serious or not serious. Yeah. Almost all the elements of poetry go into indicating its tone: connotation, imagery, metaphor, irony and understatement, rhythm, sentence construction, and formal pattern. All these elements of poetry can be the one to indicate the tone of a poem. I would like to take a look to one poem entitled Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening. I think this poem has been discussed before when we discussed about meaning and idea. Yeah? Alright, let's take a look. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. My little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near, between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. He gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sounds the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep. And miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. So you remember in this poem, it is about a man who have to go back after enjoying the beauty of the wood, yeah? So in this poem, yeah, a good student asked to interpret the poem. He wrote, the poem means that we are forever passing our pleasures to onward to what we wrongly consider our obligation. We would like to watch the snow fall on the peaceful countryside, but we always have to rush home to supper and other engagement. Frost feels that the average person considers life too short to stop and take time to appreciate true pleasure. His last sentence is what he believed as the tone of the poem. The author regrets or disapproves the man's decision to fulfill his promise rather than to enjoy beauty. So the students believe that the tone of this poem is that the author disapprove, yeah, the man decision or the speakers of the poem decision to go back to do the obligation and left the beauty behind, yeah. But then this student is successful in recognizing the central conflict. Yeah, he knows the conflict, but he fails in recognizing its tone because he say that the author, yeah, regrets the speaker's decision, mean disapprove his decision. We will take a look why I say that these students fail in recognizing the tone of the poem. First, let's see the fact, that the speaker does stop to watch the snow fall in the woods immediately establishes him as a human being with more sensitivity and feeling for beauty. So the speaker is contrasted with his horse, who, as a creature of habit and an animal without aesthetic perception, cannot understand the speaker's reason for stopping. There is also a suggestion of contrast with the owner of the woods, whom, if he saw the speaker stopping, might be as puzzled as the horse. The speaker goes on because he has promises to keep. Okay, now listen up. The word promises here is used, though it may here have a wry, ironic undertone of regret. This word promises has a favorable connotation. So people almost universally agree that promises ought to be kept. This word promises make us realize that the tone of the poem is not that the author regret or disapprove the man's decision, but rather approve his decision, because the word promises has a connotative meaning, a positive connotation. In the concluding two lines, because of their climatic position, because they are repeated, and because sleep is used figuratively to refer to death, there is a suggestion of symbolic interpretation. And miles to go before I sleep means, and many years to live before I die. The poet's total implication would seem to be that beauty is a distinctively human value that deserves its place in a few life. However, when this beauty is challenged with responsibility, man should go and do it, as in a promise to keep. So the tone of the poem tells us that the poet, here Robert Frost, is sympathetic to the speaker. So it is different from what the students say, that the author disapproves the speaker's decision. Here in this poem, actually the poet approved the decision, because the way the author used the words promise, a promise to keep, because promise is something that has a connotative meaning. It sets a positive tone. That is the author sympathetic to the speaker, or approve with the speaker decision to go back and do the obligation. Right? The next poem. I am here about to compare tone of two poems. So you see, tone of a poem can be seen through the use of words or the experience it is presented. After this slide, there will be two poems entitled The Feline and Apparently with No Surprise, which are compared in terms of their tone. Okay, let's see. The Feline. While joy gave clouds the light of stars that beam wherever they look, and calves and lambs had tottering knees, excited while they sang, while every bird enjoyed his song, without one thought of harm or wrong, I turned my head and saw the wind not far from where I stood, dragging the corn by her golden hair into a dark and lonely wood. So this poem is about the feline, here is, in this case, is the wind who dragged the corn by her golden hair into a dark and lonely wood. The next poem also about the feline and the innocent. It is this poem entitled Apparently with No Surprise. Let's read together. Apparently with no surprise to any happy flower, the frost beheads it at its play in accidental power. The blonde assassin passes on. The sun proceeds unmoved to measure off another day for an approving God. In this poem, you see the feline is the frost. You know the frost? Frost, the snow, In winter, frost kills flowers without he wants to kill it, but it happens, Both the feline and Apparently with No Surprise talk about the same thing, that is comparing the innocent and the violence or evil. However, they have different tone. The villain has metaphorically compared wind with the evil, but his line is not intended to be believed. Since the evil, here is the wind, does not really do the killing. It only blows so that drag the corn's hair. The tone here is light and fanciful, or not serious. Apparently with no surprise, Prey sends the real evil, that is the frost, that really do the killing. And the tone in the poem is horror. The frost kills beautiful flowers without even the flowers realize it. They are not surprised. And the sun, as a symbol of nature, keep doing its task as if nothing happened. Even the God who creates both the flowers and the frost seems approved to such violence. So the next poem is a poem entitled The Coming of Wisdom with Time. Let's read it together. Though leaves are many, the root is one. Through all the lying days of my youth, I swayed my leaves and flowers in the sun. Now I may wither into the truth. So this poem is about a tree with leaves and root with flowers. Yeah, I would like to explain what the meaning of this poem. Yeah? The poem describes the foolishness of youth. The poem uses a tree as a metaphor for life. The flowers represent beauty and lies, and the root is symbolic of truth and adulthood. The withering of the flowers represents an ending to the lies and the beauty in the world. As a tree grows, it loses leaves, but in time grows new ones. The same as a person grows, they gain new thought, ideas, or wisdom. The poem is describing how hard truths put an end to the foolishness of youth. When a person is young, the world is full of possibility and mystery. The speaker acknowledges that the mysticality of the world in youth is an illusion with the line, "Through all the lying days of my youth." Children are lied to for their entire childhood in many different ways. Their parents tell them about Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy, and they don't think of it as lying to their kids, but they are. They want their kids to see magic and good in the world, and it works for a while. Children were bold and arrogant and maybe even ignorant, but they were happy and they expected good from the world. And then they grew up and they withered into disillusionment of adulthood. The final line, "Now I may wither into the truth," sets the tone. The other is sad or regret the reality of adulthood. Next poem is about love. Yeah, let's read it together. There's the wonderful love of a beautiful maid, and the love of a staunch true man, and the love of a baby that's unafraid. All have existed since time began. But the most wonderful love, the love of all loves, even greater than the love for mother, is the infinite, tenderest, passionate love of one dead drunk for another. The tone of this poem is childish and playful. The tone shifts from the serious meaning of love presented by beautiful maids, stancy men, and unafraid babies, to a playful meaning of love presented by the dead drunkards. But this playful tone presents the author's belief that love exists everywhere. Thus, love is not only the one defined by coherent and acceptable people of society, but also the one born out of drunkenness, confusion, and pain. So, students, I really hope you understand what it means by tone and how you can see tone in the poem.